just about having fun. It's about the movement, about feeling the drums. Here we go.
People from all walks of life have the same needs, basic needs, food, clothing, shelter, but also recreation, spirituality, a way to express their cultural and their art forms. And so I think Global Education Center is a very, very important part of Nashville.
The Global Education Center is an invaluable, indispensable asset to a city like Nashville. It provides a place for people of different cultures to come and feel comfortable and at home.
The Global Education Center is a very important part of the Nashville community. Its existence lets Nashville know that there is a voice for the many cultures that comprise Nashville and make it the metropolitan city that it is today.
I think that's a very important thing in our community. Nashville needs more of that because it is getting more culturally diverse year after year.
The Global Education Center is a huge asset to the community as far as bringing awareness to people about different cultures.
People from all walks of life, regardless of race, creed, age, can come together and learn to just respect and celebrate each other.
Kids, adults, everyone can come and take classes at the Global Education Center and experience the concerts.
We are culturally unique because we present all the different art forms from all over the world. We're also unique because we bring them together in one location. We promote the commonalities of all people, and one of the ways we do that is through drum and dance and poetry and drama, storytelling, because all cultures throughout time have those as important ways to express political, social, ideological, religious issues. The mission of the Global Education Center is to use the arts of diverse cultures to promote cross-cultural understanding and respect.
What's unique about the Global Education Center is that it encompasses many cultures, and it's truly global in both its mission statement and its practice.
There's lots of cultural centers that focus on only one culture, and there's lots of organizations that might have a multicultural program every now and then, but that's all we do, multicultural arts programming, and we present it on a regular basis, and we reach out into all the different international minority communities and let their folks help plan and facilitate the programming, which keeps it culturally relevant, culturally sensitive. We want our artists to present their culture in their way, the way they perceive their culture, and of course we want them to continuously evolve like all arts in all cultures. One challenge here in Nashville, people want them seasonally, like they want the Black artists in February, and they want the Native American artists during Native American month, and they want the Mexican artists around Cinco de Mayo. And our goal is for them to be respected year-round as professional artists for their art form. So it's very important to us to listen to our artists, what they want to present and how they want their culture presented. The biggest, most important thing in working with those communities is respect for their culture, respect for their art form, and listening to them, letting them have a say in how the program is going to be, the time of day. Some of our cultures like to present things as matinees, some like a Thursday night, some like a Saturday night. So we just kind of listen to what their communities want. We look to them to give us advice on that type of planning of the programming. And I think you also have to include those communities in the facilitation of the programming. Have them actually plan the program, facilitate the program, bring the audiences in, help market the program. Then they feel ownership in it. We have examples where it didn't work. We had an African group that was set on doing things a certain way, and I knew it wouldn't work, but being a female and them being new to America and from a male-dominant society, I had to let them do it their way. And when it wasn't successful, then they listened and we did it a different way, and it was very successful.
The Global Education Center provides an opportunity for dancers of different multicultural dance and music styles to have access to master teachers.
We also bring artists in, world-renowned artists, regional, national, international, and they work with our artists and give them new material for their own repertoires. Another part of our mission is to offer professional development for community artists, particularly international and minority artists. We help them actually create the curriculum guides that they can use when they go into the schools. We offer workshops like how to write a tech writer, so they know when they do a show, they can tell the theater what type of sound system they need, how many mics they need, We also teach them how to connect their art form with the teaching guidelines that Metro and the state require, that anything that's brought into the schools has to meet certain core curriculum values. When you work with diverse artists, you have to be ready to get a P3 visa if you're bringing them in from another country. We've had a lot of experience with that so that they have the proper documentation. And you also have to take advantage of opportunities that come your way. If someone happens to be in town visiting a relative, you have to have kind of a go-with-the-flow attitude and work them into your programming if they're here and they're masters in their field and you want to take advantage of that. And you have to find out what kind of visa they have, because certain visas you can't pay them, they can't accept pay, but you can cover their expenses.
The Global Education Center provides an opportunity for the school systems to have access to authentic education about the different cultures that are present in Nashville.
Another part of our mission is to use the arts of all the different cultures to show teachers how to infuse that into their classroom on a daily basis, not just as an art project or not just as a seasonal thing, but to actually infuse it into their classroom. This is our 6th year of working with Singers of United Lands, and it's a nonprofit out of Michigan, and each year they audition young people like in their 20s, college age, from all over the world. They select 4 from 4 different countries. They've never repeated a country, and they get together for just a couple of weeks to learn each other's languages, enough to sing one another's songs and learn their traditional music, and then they tour. And for us, they've done a senior center, a K-8 school, a preschool, and then they're also going to a community college in Columbia, Tennessee. We're actually considered to be a national model in multicultural arts integration for teachers, for professional development. And we have a very successful Summer Teacher Institute, and then we do teacher training throughout the year. We present at conferences in Tennessee and surrounding states. So we have a great reputation and a lot of success in working with schools, public and private. The board originally was a board of artists from different cultures because I knew them from working in the schools, and as parents of children that I taught, they would come up to me and say, look, I'm a dancer and musician from Hawaii, and could you include my culture? I'm from Korea, could you include my culture in your program? So they helped form the basis of the Global Education Center and helped make it a very culturally relevant organization for programming, for serving diverse communities. But then as we started getting government funding, we were not allowed to have on our board the artists that we pay. That was restricted by some of the government funding. And so we had to form a, I guess you'd call it an advisory board or a council of artists so that we can still have them involved in our programming. So the couple of artists that are still on our board are ones that donate back, and we don't pay them as much. They're the worker bees. They have to do a lot of volunteering and a lot of helping because we have a small staff. And the advisory board is actually more involved in the program planning and the facilitating because they represent more of the communities. We do have a minority-based board, which in some ways we've had more of a challenge with fundraising because for some of their cultures it's impolite to ask for money. But in program planning, it's just been the best thing we could ever hope for because it's kept our programming culturally relevant, culturally sensitive, and appropriate for their audiences. Our current board of directors is comprised of 3 Caucasian Americans, 2 Latinas, 1 African, 1 Asian, and 5 African Americans. Our advisory board consists of about 30 to 35 people on an average basis, and they represent almost as many cultures. The board meets between 4 and 6 times a year physically, and then we also have some phone conferences, and we have committee meetings in between the board meetings. We've tried the virtual meetings with the computer, but that hasn't worked well because a lot of our board members don't have the technology. We usually elect new board members in May or June of each year, so they'll be on board for the new fiscal year, which starts in July. And most of our board members serve as volunteers or participants in our programs before we ask them to be on the board.
My name is Stephen Damo. I am the resident Afro-Latin dance instructor and performer here at the Global Education Center. I am the co-director of Sentido Ritmo Dance Company. It's a Afro-Latin dance company based out of the Global Education Center. And I teach salsa, bachata, merengue, cha-cha-cha dance classes. And perform Latin dance with my partner and students in Nashville and all throughout the South. I serve actually as a member of the board. I'm here 3 to 4 times a week between teaching group dance classes that are open to the general public. We also host dance socials for basically everyone who wants to learn what salsa music is like and wants to dance in a relaxed, family-friendly environment as opposed to going to a nightclub. Typically in larger cities, every community sort of has its own voice or its own forum, which can be good, but sometimes it's bad because that means there's no one unifying impetus to bring all the different cultures together. The Global Education Center serves to give a forum for local artists to do what they love and to share that with the rest of Nashville and beyond.
When I first came to the Global Education Center, I was at a place in my life where I was grieving for my mother. And I went into a class and there was just something about the live drumming that made me feel alive and awake and happy. And I didn't know how to dance well initially when I started, but I had to go. African dance for me, it is now turned into an endeavor that is helping me to know myself. So the drumming, I just love it. The dancing, I just love the movement. I'm now at a place where I'm beginning to realize that it's helping me to know who I am as a person. Being born here in America as an African American, sometimes there's kind of like a blank in terms of my heritage. I don't exactly know where I'm from or where my ancestors are from in Africa. And so the more I listen to West African drumming and participate in the dance, there's something that just helps me to know who I am. And so the more I learn about the rhythms that I teach, the more I learn about myself, the more I feel connected in a whole different way to myself as an African who's been born in America. And so for me, I love sharing with everyone who's willing to allow me to share with them because it makes everybody happy. That's the #1 reason why.
Global Education Center has given us an opportunity to share our love for flamenco with a larger group of people. We're based in Louisville, Kentucky, but because of the Global Education Center's dedication to world culture, we get to share our journey of discovery of flamenco with a larger audience, especially for young people who are at that stage where they need to be part of something larger than themselves. The Global Education Center really provides a unique place for that experience at that critical point in people's lives. People continue to be on that journey to find the larger world throughout their lives. And flamenco gives me a way to express strength, anger, sadness, as well as joy and beauty. It gives me the full spectrum. All ages, all shapes and sizes, flamenco embraces your life's experience. We're not waiting for somebody to come and invite us to dance. We get to get out there and be strong, be expressive, and I have seen that impact people from an emotional perspective and also from a physical perspective. That touches me every time, and it keeps me coming back for more, and I'm going to do this until I drop.
I had pretty much given up music as far as being a player of music until Diana, my wife, introduced me to flamenco, and it gave me music, and it gave me that range of expressiveness and also experience. I was going through a rough time with family. I'd lost some family members, and flamenco gave me the opportunity to cope with that and to express that. And so when I see the people who come to the educational and performance opportunities at the center, I see that being carried on, for other people. I think that's what the center does so beautifully, keeping in touch with a broader world and with a broader definition of what it means to be human.
My name is Monica Cooley. I am a teacher, choreographer, and performer of South Indian classical dance. Bharatanatyam is the name of the dance style, and I've been associated with the Global Education Center for longer than I can remember, probably 16, 17 years. First as an affiliated artist, going into the schools to do programs on India, and then as a board member, and then in collaboration with the Global Education Center for special major dance drama projects. For many years I taught in a private setting, and when our classes outgrew that private setting, the Global Education Center offered us space in one of the smaller studios here, and that allowed me to expand my classes and offer a proper studio setting for the kind of dance that I teach, and it has benefited all of the students who learn classical Indian dance here. The Global Education Center is a multicultural nonprofit, and it works in collaboration with various other organizations. And without the collaboration with the Global Education Center, I could not have done the major dance dramas that we have done. The Global Education Center and I have worked together to write grants and receive funding from various sources to create new work and to take it to audiences in Tennessee and throughout the United States. Indian classical dance is unique among the classical dance forms of the world because it was created several thousand years ago to provide an avenue for those who could not read to have access to the scriptures and the mythological stories and all of the literary works of Indian culture. It's a classical dance form that takes many, many years of practice and study. And without the Global Education Center, I don't think I could have taken this extraordinarily unique and exquisite dance form to the wider community in Nashville.
I think our greatest success has been in working with youth here at the Global Education Center. We keep our programming here at the center very small because we would rather totally change the lives of a few students than touch the lives of many. And so, for example, our summer camp, we only take 15 kids a week. We have 5 adults plus all the artists that work with them. We've had the same kids since 1997. They are now young adults. Every one of them is still involved in our program as a teacher, a performer, a counselor. Some of them have been offered jobs in the summer, but they prefer to come back and work in our summer camp. And now we have some of their children. This year we're actually going to open up our summer camp to 4- and 5-year-olds because there are 5 kids with older siblings or parents involved in our program that want to come. And they represent 5 different cultures. So we have African American males and Latino and Asian females. The African American males have all gone to college, and almost every one of them is majoring in something that has to do with the arts or with international studies.
A lot of my education and career choices have come from what my experiences were here at the center. I remember just meeting people from all over the world since I was young, and so that's one of the reasons I chose Spanish as an early career option, was to be able to communicate with a lot of the people that would come from other countries that were still learning English.
Many of the youth that we work with either have a parent or sibling in the penal system, or have lost a parent or sibling to violence, or they have learning differences, just different issues that make life a little bit harder for them, or they're economically disadvantaged, or they have English as their second language. So I think we serve a lot of children like that, and we serve them very well.
The center has definitely impacted my life on a lot of different levels. Personally, it's impacted my life for being a safe haven and a place to come when, you know, things were going kind of hard in my life. But as far as training me, being able to see all different cultures, I would never have been able to see and study with the African masters if it wasn't for the center. It means a whole lot to me, and I think it has a bigger meaning for this community.
Global education is a place where we can embrace, respect, and learn from each other. This is an open environment.
Our cultures do not exist in a vacuum, but we all exist together, and the Global Education Center is a place where that can happen.
People from different communities say it's a very warm environment, and they feel like the staff here really cares about what happens to them. Everyone feels at home here.
We're able to share culture in a way that's not biased, truly to show the commonalities amongst everyone.
I could go on and on about all the things that Global Education Center offers. It makes the city of Nashville much richer and more diverse and more culturally available to all the different communities.
My favorite thing about the Global Education Center is the family we've created in our community. I love the sense of family that everybody who comes here feels. They can come here one time and be nervous at first because they feel out of place, and within 30 minutes, this is home. And that's my favorite thing, is creating a home for everybody.